Hello BookTube, welcome back to Authentic Story Making. I'm glad you guys are here. Today is just our recent reads covering from October into December. Jumping directly into the first book, I read The Flame of Ram by Israel I. Cooley, my dad. And this is a fantasy fiction. However, he wrote this as something that could take place in a very ancient real world. So my dad was somewhat of a history buff, and he loved studying old legends and myths and whatnot. And a lot of the actual creatures and things in this book are from real legends and whatnot, which is really cool. But this is just a really solid story, great allegory. The characters are really well done. I will say for everyone out there on BookTube, because my book, The King's Sword, that I wrote about 10 years ago has started to be read now by some booktubers. And when I wrote it, I thought I put plenty of romance in. And consistently, I am getting feedback that there really wasn't a lot of romance. I will say that if you're looking for a romance book, because I know all of you on BookTube here like your romances, there is romance in this book, but it is very minimal compared to what I know you all are looking for. So this is just a great adventure story. Again, full of great allegory and great characters and imaginative world building. So yeah, this is available on Amazon. The link will be down below if you are interested. Next book I read was Julius Sacket by Louis L'Amour. And what I really liked about this book is the exploratory elements. So Julius Sacket has a desire to wander and explore the places that no white men before him have gone, to go beyond the far blue mountains, the Appalachians, to discover the far-seeing lands, the Great Plains, and the shining mountains, I think, the Rockies. And the adventure he goes on, he meets up with another Indian who loves to wander and travel, and they become best friends. And they receive this quest from an Indian chief to go further west and deliver a message to the princess of that chief's tribe. But that's the basic overview. I really enjoyed the story. I gave it 3 stars. It's got some cool imaginative elements, like the main character ends up taming a buffalo and using it to ride on, which is kind of cool in my opinion. But I've always loved the image of the mountain man out on his own, exploring the wilds, just kind of solitary and enjoying the discovery of early America, unexplored America. I've always dreamed of being a mountain man. And so that's why I liked this book, because it was able to kind of experience that dream a little bit through the main character. Another book I finished was The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. I'm going through the Chronicles of Narnia again, and this time I'm buddy reading it with my friend Steve. So we are currently in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, almost done with that one. These are middle grade level reading, but they are still deep books. They're full of just layers of allegory and thought and truths. Because I don't think just because something is middle grade or young adult or even children's stories that it should be dumbed down. There should still be layers there. And C.S. Lewis himself was the one who said any children's book that is not worth reading at the age of 10 as much as an adult at the age of 40 or whatever is not worth reading at all.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
One of my favorite scenes in the Narnia series is in this book when when Diggory is asking Aslan for help for his mother, and he glimpses the tears in Aslan's eyes. And it's just a very powerful scene to me. I read The King's Scrolls, and this is by J.L. Knight, Book 2 in the Ilion Chronicles. So this one, I rated 3 to 3.5 stars. The writing is good. The character development is very good. But just personally, and it's 100% a preference thing, I am not enjoying this series, really. It's just not my style, which is weird because medieval fantasy fiction is pretty much my favorite. But this one's just not doing it for me. I think it's just the level and the type of emotions that are never really... I think one of the reasons is when I read a fantasy fiction book, I like there to be a level of escapism, and this just feels so real world to me that it didn't have that. The type of allegory in this book is a very obvious literal allegory, almost to the extent that I don't even consider it allegory because it's pretty much exactly the way it is in the real world. You know, things about the King's Scrolls, that's the Bible, and it's literally our scriptures, so that really isn't an allegory. A lot of that kind of stuff, which again is completely preference based. Looking back on book one, which I rated a little higher than this one, and then having read this one, personally, I'm not really enjoying it. I don't know if it's just more of a girl series. It's just not doing it for me, unfortunately. But the other book I read in contrast is Wiess. Now this one, the allegory is very well done to me. It's a lot more imaginative and makes me think about the truths in this world and in scriptures in a creative way, which I think is the purpose of allegory. But I rated this one 5 stars. Kind of surprised me. I didn't expect to enjoy it that much, but I did. And I really liked the main guy character, even though it's written by a female author. I really still enjoyed and identified with the main guy character, which is pretty cool that she could pull that off. I also read Orthodoxy, finally finished it. I think I've been reading it since July. I'm not going to say a lot about this book because I'm probably going to be talking about it a lot in future videos. But basically this is Chesterton's arguments and case for why he came to believe in Christianity. Basically, I love this book because Chesterton is brilliant. He's very logical and rational minded, but he also has this maintained amount of childlike wonder with creation and God himself. And I just love that. That thought and deep thinking can actually create a deeper sense of wonder instead of explaining everything and everything kind of becoming dull and scientific. Chesterton shows how actually thinking about things, delving into them logically, reveals and unravels how much depth and mystery there is to everything around us, and paradox, and that God himself is just amazing and unexplainable, and very much like Paul said in Romans, that the ways of the Lord are past finding out. And that's really true. But I think like in Christianity today, we tend to explain God too much to where we actually are limiting our idea of him and hindering our idea of him and losing some of the wonder that is there, because we're coming up with human explanations for a God that is beyond anything we can comprehend. But all that to say, I'm going back through this book now very slowly, kind of annotating and diagramming, fine-tooth comb, just working my way back through it slowly, and there's just so much to glean out of this book. It's an amazing book. Easily 5 stars. It's amazing. Last book I finished was Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. I really enjoyed this series. It was my first Brandon Sanderson book. I think I rated it like 4.5 stars. I just really liked the characters. I thought that his plot is just really well done. The world was very well built. One of my favorite, probably my top most important piece to a story to me is characters, and second beneath that is the plot or the ideas built into the story. And this had both. I like books that really make me think about things in creative ways, and this book had a lot of interesting imagery for things. Yeah, I mean, Brandon Sanderson is obviously popular for a reason. He's a great storyteller. And, yeah, I enjoyed this book. But that is it. That's all the books I've read in the last couple months. Thank you guys for tuning in. That's all I'm going to say for today. So, Merry Christmas. So apparently I forgot one book, and the reason is I don't have the copy with me anymore. I figured I was going to forget to mention it, but I attempted to read for the first time a romance novel. So I went to the library and picked up a copy, dug through, and found this book. And instead of telling you guys how it went, I'm actually going to show you with the remainder of this video. The intent was to have the following scenes be their own thing, but there was not enough content, so I'm going to attach it onto the end of this video. And I hope you guys enjoy my experience reading, or attempting to read, a romance novel. Fake dating, I think. The kiss quotient, whatever that means. Shipped. I feel like I recognize the proposal. That's probably because all of them sound the same. Loath to love you. What do you think of this one?
You with a view.
Someone's got some stuff on the back of the cover that I would rather not read out loud. But I haven't seen any of those here. A wife by accident. A sizzling attraction.
Put it back.
Sadie is a rising star trending Seattle restaurants. Her dream is blah blah blah. Saving her career, whatever. Ooh, best served hot. Harry Mills is a guardian angel on a mission. Help 24-year-old Addie Folsom get her life back on track. And if the right moment strikes, help her find love.
Oh, that sounds like it's gonna be
Bombshell. Ooh. Help Megan. I'm not showing that cover at all. Oh my goodness. Christmas in Vermont. I feel like that's a Hallmark we've watched before. Come on. As their bitter rivalry turns into something much more complicated, Izzy and Lucas begin to wonder if there's more at stake here than the hotel's future. Can the two of them make it through the season with their hearts intact? Probably not. Oh, keep it clean. I don't know if I can do this. Gross. Oh. Dating Dr. Dill.
part of the back. I mean,
Okay. Enemies to lovers, maybe? Sounds horrendous. Can you put that in there? Thank you. The universe has a plan for her. Oh, I don't know if this is possible, guys. I don't know if I can find one. Sweet on you. Stay with me. Hey, stay with me. Have I seen this before? Megan? Doesn't that look really familiar? Okay, guys, just got back from the library, and my plan was to pick up a rom-com, one of those really cheesy art covers, and I could not find one that even looked remotely clean. So what I did is I picked up a Christian romance novel, Stay With Me by Becky Wade. So I think a few people on BookTube have read this. I recognize the cover, and this is going to be a reactionary video. Loving her is a risk he can't afford and can't resist. See how this goes. First impressions, I'm realizing this is first person present tense, it looks like. Oh, just that beginning part was. Interesting. So that's chapter 1. Basically, the main guy, Sam, owns this vacation home, and he walks in and finds the main girl, Genevieve, sleeping in the vacation home. And she's been on prescription drugs or something. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if I'm gonna get through this book. It's a long book, and it's just not exciting at all. I'm only in chapter 2, though. It's a long chapter. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stick this out. My goodness, how long is this chapter? She meets her dad and gives him a hug. Judson Woodward's hug smelled like Irish Spring soap. Just like always. Time to speed read. I do not have the stamina for this. I'm so sorry. Not the stamina. Oh. He began every work day this way. For that matter, he executed every day of every week by following the same routine. The kitchen opened for breakfast at 7 o'clock and closed at 1 o'clock, 6 days out of 7. Yesterday, Monday, had been his day off. Genevieve had gotten it off to such a bad start that he'd been on edge for the rest of the day. It had been difficult to relax, and even more difficult to get Genevieve out of his head. In part because she stirred up painful memories of Caden, whoever that is. In part because Genevieve herself wasn't an easy person to forget, for whatever reason. Like a frustrating itch, thoughts of her wouldn't go away. He intended to follow his usual schedule. Alright, yeah, so guys, this evening I'm picking up my sister Katie again from the library where she works, and I will be dropping this back off, officially DNFing it.